every day you wake up. Because I was like, I'm gonna beat this and I'm gonna be fine. Like thinking that it's the flu still. I'm still
Right.
in my mind thinking that it's a flu. It's another chance to do your thing. Never once thought it was corona. Understand that this is not necessarily a death sentence. And I know people are dying, but it's not a death sentence. My best. Every day I lift my head up.
So thank you so much for being a guest here. And Shuga says, let's talk. Now, before we jump on in, can you please introduce yourself to the viewers?
Okay, my name is Nicholas Ryan Gant, singer, songwriter, educator, musician, worship leader, and all of that here in New York City.
I saw you post up these photos that you were sick, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no, what's happening? So please
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about the journey of Miss Rona.
It all kind of happened really fast because up until the point that I went to the hospital, I was kind of like in denial about it being coronavirus. I just thought that maybe I was misdiagnosed, and when I went, because I went to the doctor actually on the 18th, and they gave me a flu test, and the flu test came back negative.
Right.
But they weren't giving tests for coronavirus. And he told me that I should go home and act like I have it and like quarantine myself, it was a little bit weird because like, what does that mean? Like, act like you have it, act like you have something you know nothing about. I was like getting advice from one of my friends who's a nurse practitioner who was actually like doing a lot of work with COVID patients at the hospital that he works at. But I still wasn't thinking that it was corona. I was convinced that it was just a really nasty flu that was sort of lingering. That next day was Wednesday, and I didn't have a fever
Right.
for 24 hours. So I was like, okay, maybe it's over. Like, maybe I'm in the clear. And sure enough, I woke up that morning and I could hear like bubbles in my chest when I was breathing.
Wow.
Like I was like wheezing really bad. And I was like, this does not sound right.
How long were you dealing with these symptoms before you felt like the bubbles were in your chest?
So that the fevers started like the night of 3/15, so March 15th. And then the bubbles started on like 3/24. So it had been days.
Like 10 days.
The next day I woke up and the bubbles like sort of got worse.
Really?
Yeah. So I was trying to
Can you
trying to
describe
navigate
the
through that.
feeling? Like in terms of
It
how could you
literally
know
felt like I could hear like the bubbles. Like when I was laying down, it sounded like
Oh,
like in my chest.
wow.
Like it was that thick. The pain in my chest started getting like worse.
Right.
And I could feel my lungs inside of my chest.
Oh my dear.
So it ended up being like really, really crazy. But my lungs were like slowly shutting down. And if I would have gone to sleep, I probably wouldn't have waken up.
So that's very good that the friend came in the nick of time and that he was so,
Exactly. He was very adamant about like taking me to the hospital.
Right. So when you did get to the hospital, how long did you have to stay? Like what type of treatment did you receive when there?
There they gave me Tylenol and like a few other things. When the doctor came to do the rounds, he was like, I don't want to scare you, but everything you're describing, all of your symptoms from last week, leads us to believe that you have COVID and we have to keep you.
So it took 2 weeks for you to get really, really bad to this point, essentially.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
When the doctor came and he gives you this diagnosis, what were some of the thoughts that were going through your mind?
At that point, I was just like, how? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how is that even possible? Because I wasn't really outside. At that point, there was no like stay in place order, So it was just like, how did I even get this? Like, where did it come from?
It's kind of crazy, this virus, because you're carrying it and you don't know and you're passing on, and it's amazing to hear how long it takes to like really show itself.
So I was in the hospital for 6 days. It was hard to determine like how I really felt because a lot of it was like sort of like a depression. A lot of it was like anxiety. A lot of it was, just like uncertainty. It was definitely difficult because the nurses, it was only like one authorized person that could come in, and they could only come in at certain times. All the hospitals were running low on supplies.
Right.
So, it was basically like they came in like every few hours to take vitals or to give like EKG or to take blood or to give meds and meals. So they would have to like try to do everything within that window, which was, it was hard. I believe in God and I believe in prayer. And even though it was like a really hard time, I had to really figure out how to stay faith-filled, and so people were definitely a part of that. Like my tribe, I never knew how loved I was, and so and that felt really good. It felt really good to have, the support of people at New York Presbyterian, at Columbia. They were amazing.
What silver linings, if any, have you discovered through this whole process?
Really, my faith and encouraging other people's faith. It's really hard to see God in these kinds of situations, especially if you don't know God. When you see somebody like me, right, who technically was supposed to die, to see somebody like me come through that, like, and be almost restored. Obviously, I'm not completely, healed of it. I still have a lot of remnant. It can be depressing at times because when I do try to sing, it's not, it's not as comfortable as it was before. I feel like I'm relearning a lot of things. By, aesthetics, I'm normal almost, and to see somebody go through that, is a real big testament of faith and knowing that healing is possible. There's a lot of people that are not making it. And it really inspired a lot of people to actually start praying, and like there were so many people that hit me up that said, I don't pray and I prayed for you. And it really helped me to understand that even though it was hell, it wasn't about me at all. It wasn't about me, and it was really about giving people hope.
Do you feel, or do you have the energy to share a little bit of a song with us today?
Oh gosh.
Anything that's on your heart? Sing.
Sleep is on my heart because I've been in Zoom meetings because I actually started back to work and distance learning with my students this week. I can sing, every day you wake up, it's another chance to take a chance. Every day you wake up, it's another chance to do your dance. Take a chance for you. Every day I lift my head up, I'm gonna give it my best. Every day I lift my head up, I'm gonna make it my best. Every day I lift my head up, I'm gonna make it my best. Every day I'm gonna live on purpose.
Yes! Thank you. Your voice is just so wonderful to listen to. It's just so smooth and so yummy. I could just live in the pocket of those notes.
It's so sweet. Stay home and make sure that you are, protecting yourself and really understand that this is not necessarily a death sentence. And I know people are dying, but it's not a death sentence.
I'm glad that everybody uplifted you and that you are right here. It is truly, truly amazing. And you continue being a blessing to this here big old world because you are indeed.